Nottingham, the host city of the 2026 WFDF World Masters Ultimate Club Championships. We are bringing you some women's Masters action here on Ultiworld. The round of 16 just about to get underway with Barrel Aged from the US taking on Sour of Canada. My name is Benjamin Rees, delighted to be joined here by Becky Thompson, and tell us about this all North American matchup.
Yeah, a big one here today, Benji. These teams vying for a spot in the quarterfinals. Sour coming out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. They had to go down into the lower power pools and play their way up into this game. Meanwhile, Barrel Age playing in that higher bracket, and now the higher seed in this one. You get a look at the bracket here. You can see Barrel Age and Sour competing for that spot in the quarterfinal, potentially facing up against that #1 seed Old News in the quarters if that all goes to plan. And this should be quite a tight game, I think, Benji.
For sure. It's one of those where if you followed Ultimate for long enough, you know that the transitive property does not apply. But certainly, I think there are teams that have the potential to play this out relatively closely. Here's someone you've been keeping an eye on for this Sour side, Jenny Chorus.
Yeah, Jenny Chorus has been absolutely dominant in the handler space for this Sour team. You can see there 14 assists, 1 goal. A really talented thrower. Look to her to make things happen for this Sour team.
Expect to see her exert her influence over the course of this contest. Certainly, as you saw there, the stat line is already very impressive. Hiding slightly from the cameras there, we've got Carolyn Vlack playing for this Colorado side. Played college Ultimate out of the University of Michigan up in the Flywheel program at the start of the 2010s, and then been based playing for Colorado Small Batch for the best part of a decade with a short sojourn for Molly Brown, and also one of the captains for the Colorado Alpenglow this season in the Western Ultimate League. Looks like we've got Sour who are going to pull to begin the game, so that has Barrel Age beginning on offense. Sour in those very stylish whites. Barrel Aged in blue, and we are underway here in Nottingham. Ewing chooses to field from the floor. Hitting a central option, keeping 3 players back. Operating horizontally downfield, a little bit of contact away from the disc.
Yeah, I think both players there just fighting for that space, colliding. Maybe not intentionally, but just getting a little bit close, as vying for the disc.
So far, not really finding much separation downfield. That's a really tough catch made under coverage, but they're not able to make the most of it. Sour will pick up with a short field. Taking on the break, which dies just in front of the bidding receiver.
That direction is a little bit downwind as well, so those discs need to be a bit higher, otherwise they're going to get pushed into the ground, as we saw there as another turnover comes from Barrel Aged.
Yeah, going into the wind, showed too much head. It begins to flutter to the floor. Another low one, and both sides, I think, struggling to deal with the slightly swirly stadium conditions.
Yeah, it has been a bit swirly on this pitch. For the most part, the wind has been going from the left to right of your screen. You can see the flags on the top end of the stands there.
Good recognition to get the second effort grab there. Can take the reset back to Beetle Moorcroft. The around break delivered. Trying to get some more movement going with Havel. But doesn't feel fluid at the moment, this possession.
Yeah, I think both teams may be starting this game a little bit tense, trying to figure each other out with a lot on the line for the quarterfinals as well.
Yeah, it is do or die now. If you lose, your medal hopes are toast for another edition. Bailey able to get the disc out of her hands into the centre, where it's speared by Harrell. Faking the option down the line, but not quite seeing it. Good coverage in the handler set, and Beetle Moorcroft catches under a fair amount of pressure. And then the reset just too low.
You said it there, Benji. It's the pressure from the Sour defense that has just made some of those throws be put into a tighter gap than Barrel Age, I think, wants to throw into.
A high release to be tossed downfield there to Trainer. He'll reset to Frampton. Just the two players back for the Canadians. A little bit of point and shoot downfield to find Fairweather. The reset just pinged too far. Was looking to hook up with Frampton. Could be an opportunity for a fast break. Big pump downfield. Doesn't go and throw. And I think they thought it was going to be picked off. It very nearly was. And although Delaney didn't get a hand on it, she evidently did enough. Another missed connection downfield there, looking for Rubino. Neither side has really got their feet set yet in this game.
No, you said it there, Benji. This is a classic first point we see sometimes in knockout games where teams are both a bit nervous and trying to figure each other out. As you see a foul call come on this occasion. So many of these turns coming by just slightly overshooting the receivers from both teams, and a lot of turnovers on the resets as well. So something I think both of these teams are going to want to dial in.
Uncontested, but just for future. Okay. Yeah. Turn.
Okay.
Put. Accepted.
Accepted foul is the resolution, and there was certainly a fair bit of contact on that one. Checked in by Rubino. Very isolated though with the disc. Eventually some help becomes available in Harrell. Looking wide across field, smuggled in by Frampton. And now Frampton tries to chance her arm, splits the defenders beautifully and finds the gap and finds Trainer for the score.
Yeah, speaking to their coach before this game, he did tell me to watch out for Tannis Trainer. The 32-year-old out of Halifax has been dominating in the air, said she was going to be receiving those goals all day long and getting a first break on the board here for this team from Canada. And despite the number of turns in that point, Benji, the Canadian side here will be a lot happier with that point than Barrel Age. That is a defensive point for them, and they've kept the O-line for Barrel Age out here on the field for a very long time to start this game.
Yeah, not only getting the break, but as you mentioned, just getting those miles in the legs early. Halfway through the week now, and mercifully this week has been a lot cooler than it was last week, where we had a heat wave coming across the country and recorded the hottest June day on record, 3 consecutive days, which, you know, not brilliant, but mercifully cooler this week. Slight false start there on the pool, but it is now delivered. It's going to curl and roll and just about stay in bounds as it falls favourably towards the end zone. The Barrel Age are attacking. Already trying to get a bit more dynamism going this time, moving it more quickly. Big wide fakes. Flack comes underneath and shoots, but unable to hook up with Mueller.
That looked almost a little bit rushed from Black there, just getting excited that she had a wide open receiver in the end zone and not able to connect.
Sauer then with another break chance, already their 5th of the game, and this is only 6th of the game in fact. It's only the 2nd point. Not really see anything going, choosing to chance the arm downfield. Got a lot of size there, and it pays off. Amanda Ring bringing it in. Now trying to find a reset, looking for that offhand, backhand, trying to curl it. Finding options, and you can tell that as soon as the disc stops, it becomes difficult to get it going again as that downline throw is out of reach. Looking to squeeze it down the sideline. Foul called.
Looked like maybe a stall out was signaled as well there from the defender, Benji, so maybe both players making a call here.
I was really saying, you're saying 9?
I'm just saying I disagree with that. I'm saying that I do agree that there was
a foul contest.
A hand, but I called you stall down first. I got to 10.
Okay. Oh, so you're also calling a stall. And I'm
Yeah,
contesting.
I'm calling stall
There's
down
a contested
first.
stall and a contested foul.
Okay.
Yes.
So
the stall down happened before the
That's
foul.
correct.
yeah, the thing we have to resolve in chronological order
Yes.
here, and the thing is she's calling foul.
I called stall down first, though.
Yeah, I understand that, but I cannot tell you whether. So if she's calling foul, it has to happen before the stall out, because otherwise it means that she accepts the stall out. All right. So that means that would be a foul contested in that case. I understand.
Yes, okay,
I understand what's going on. All right.
So then it's contested.
So it's going to be a contested foul.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in on 6?
Yeah. Yeah. Contested foul, max 6. So if it's it comes back to stalling 1.
Yes.
Though. Okay.
I'm not
So-
sure, Benji, if I agree
Okay,
with
so
the order
that's going to be a foul accepted. Okay.
that the
Coming back
advisor
saying
has
1.
suggested there, because the Canadian player is saying actually she said stall out before the contact even occurred. So in the order of chronological calls, the stall out call happened before the foul.
But it is an accepted foul. And so the stall does reset. And Barrel Edge will keep it just about. Then he took a nasty spill through the hands of Longinotti. A stoppage. It will stay with Longinotti though. This low curling swing. It's not going to reach the target of Mueller. A rising catch made there by Fairweather. In the red zone, they can't hook up with the reset. Errors abound early on in this one.
And we're seeing that in particular for Sauer here, that those errors are coming on the resets, maybe just not setting, not fully pivoting out into that throw, especially with a little bit of wind.
This one tipped, but it's going to be alive and reeled in. And now the deep shot comes and not able to chase it out. Mueller once more the scoring option, but overthrown again. This time, Kendall Brantley guilty of getting the length a little bit wrong.
I do like that decision, though, from Brantley. The receiver was open, and at this point, Barrel Age can now pin Sauer down in this end of the field, have them make them go the full 70 yards if they want to get this break.
Ring is the first option, and there's a little bit of flow developing here. Down the sideline, they've got an option, and they're spreading it out. Finding Ewing, but a travel called back at the throw. Game really has struggled for rhythm and fluency.
Be interesting to see this one back, Benji. I think the players trying to argue that maybe one too many step was taken there by Fairweather, but to me it didn't look like she changed her direction. It looked to me like that was in one motion of catch and then take those 3 steps and release the throw.
here.
But
The length was really nice, but not sure I see a huge amount in that one.
now, to me that looks like 3 steps, set a pivot, and throw the huck on that.
We have a count?
Not count. Okay. Thank you.
So no stall. And they have an opportunity to try and get it off the line here. They find Frampton. Frampton once more sees the deep shot. You can see that begin to drop, but Hawkins was in the right place at the right time and read it well for another Sauer break, and they take a 2-0 lead.
A huge break for Sauer here early in this game still, but able to continue to grind out some of these long points. I don't think they'll be completely happy, as we mentioned, struggling on some of their resets, but on This time around, we said they'd have to go the full 70 yards off that turnover that we just saw from Barrel Age and make no problem to do so. Looking at the big huck there. You said it there, Benji, and dropped a little bit in the wind, but Hawkins able to reel it in, and Barrel Age now taking a timeout as they look to find a way to reset themselves.
I think it's been, certainly sloppier than both sides would have liked, I think, in the early goings, even though Sauer find their noses in front. Some soul-searching to do for Barrel Age as their fans in the stands probably try and come up with some schemes themselves. Sauer 2-0 up early in this one. Is there an upset brewing in the works, potentially? Well, it's very early days in this one, but so far, Sauer are indeed playing spoiler with a 2-0 lead over Barrel Aged here. Maybe the advantage, I guess, of being in the lower power pools is that it gives you the opportunity to to build the confidence to figure some things out, and you can really continue that into the brackets. But it's certainly been a discombobulated performance so far from Barrel Aged. Another stoppage.
Looks like it may be a violation on the force, so maybe a marking infraction and needing to drop the count here. We might get a sense of what's going on right now. The difference for me, Benji, just the intensity that Sauer is coming down on defense. It's really stopping the flow here for Barrel Age, and they're not looking like they're able to connect with the throws that they want to.
Okay. One.
Back underway now with Havel for Barrel Aged. Harold comes underneath. Another short little dish there to Beetle Moorcroft. Harold again, finding the inside seam that time. Nice gainer to Bailey. Trying to find a reset. Good defensive work in the handler space by Ring, but they are able to find an option downfield, and they connect with it as well on the follow-up for the score. Barrel Aged belatedly on the board, but the timeout evidently worked a treat. And they're able to find Hillary Walker for their first goal of the game.
Yeah, and their first clean point as well here, Benji, able to finally make those connections on the resets as well. We were seeing before, Sauer was really able to stop their upfield flow, so anytime they would get the disc to the break side, look upfield, all of those under options were marked, and finally they recognized that and they were able to take advantage by hitting the open deep shot instead, and a really good grab there for the goal.
Yeah, doesn't try and do too much with it necessarily, Walker. Just runs it out and makes sure she has it safe and secure before going to ground. Interesting thing now is that the game started 17 minutes ago, and it's the first time we're going to get a look at the Sauer O-line. So you do wonder if they're going to come in a little bit cold, potentially.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And Barrel Age, of course, will be looking to take full advantage of that. They've got some players out on this D-line who were on their second O-line of the game as well. The likes of Black back out on the pitch. So maybe a little bit warmer. It'll be interesting to see what kind of defensive look they come down in.
Mueller with the pull. A little outside in edge as it's fielded by Sauer. A split stack, 3 on the near side, 2 on the far. They flood into the centre. And a junky defense coming out here from Barrel Aged.
I really like that call, Benji, from this Barrel Age team to recognize that this O-line hasn't played offense yet, and to say, well, we're not going to let you get comfortable and play a set play one of your pull plays. We're going to make you have to grind for this first point.
So far, though, they've been more than adept at dealing with the problems posed. The noise tells you that there's going to be the transition into one-on-one, slightly high, but plucked well by Caldwell. Short to McPhail. Here's Chorus, who fakes the around, and instead looks to slide it through the inside, but that was dangerous. The clear-out hadn't fully completed, and Mueller with a really switched-on play to get in and spoil it. This time, the disc goes to ground, but I expect to see a foul called, and indeed it is.
That's a really hard one for Sauer there to actually make a clean play on that. McMacken coming in from the outside.
Okay. What do you want? Okay. Okay. No contested.
And McMacken did get a full hand to the disc, Benji, but wasn't able to do so without avoiding contact. And that's really hard when you come around from the outside to make a clean play in that situation. So I think that's the right outcome here.
I agree with him on that one. The reset goes back to Vlack, really leads her into space. Pick downfield, don't sure it affected this throw though. Checking to see that everyone is now in position. A huge gainer downfield there, and a bid flies in. Doesn't quite get there, and this might now leave space in behind. Sauer able to put the brakes on somewhat, but still a really good opportunity for a break. Vlack with the high release, and Vlack drops it in the bucket there for Stephanie Piperno, their leading assister, in to their leading goal scorer. Just like that, Vlack and Piperno take their total to 10 apiece for the tournament, and they bring it level at 2-2.
Vlack really making things happen for Barrel Age on that break. It was that huge under gainer from Vlack that really opened things up. As you see the block there from Mueller, just able to turn around, like you said, the clear, not quite getting out of the space fast enough. Mueller with the heads up play, and then Vlack controlling the tempo of that D-line offense all the way in for the break. And this is more what we expected to see from this game. So now back 2-2, the one break advantage still here to Sauer, and this game is turning into more of what we expected to see, Benji.
Just, I think, recognizing early there that Barrel Age, after that second point, we've only played 2 points, but we are not right here for whatever reason. Whether it's a mentality, a focus issue, whether there's some slight element of the conditions that we've not adapted to. Either way, this is not who we are, and they've certainly given a better account of themselves since then. Chorus unable to hook up with Caldwell. A little bit of a freebie there offered to Barrel Aged. A break here would bring us on serve. Someone's going to have to pick that up.
Barrel Age changing their defense again, so that first time around coming out in the zone, this time really tight pressure match D and causing that turnover.
Low and superbly scooped to keep it off the floor by Foster. We see Barrel Age rotate their lines again, but that time couldn't stop the rotation.
And that time was the pressure D from Jenny Chorus pushing that disc into a really small gap as well.
Chorus looking for an option. One comes free underneath in McPhail. Hunt looking to put a little bit of air on it for Hayden, but Hayden didn't get a sniff.
Yeah, some of those discs here from Sauer going this direction, just too much spin on it, going slightly downwind. Needs a little bit more touch.
This is a riser, it's going to be dangerous. Hayden nearly got a pause on it. In the end, Walker wouldn't be denied. Reset goes back to Bailey. Now Kraus downfield. They're working well, though, that throw, the Oyo, the outside in edge through the inside out channel. The wind picks that up and pushes it right out of this near sideline.
And that was unfortunate because Foster there was wide open earlier in that set of play. There was maybe the chance for a leading backhand huck to go, but by the time they looked for that inside shot, it was far too late. That shot would have had to be low and had to be perfect for it to work.
Wide swing around, happy to lose the yardage to get into a central position. Players streaking free. I wonder if this is going to go. The trigger pulled by Fairweather. The adjustment late, and the block comes from Walker.
Fantastic block from Hillary Walker there. Just read that one all the way. It looked like that one was going to sit into the hands of Caldwell, but just able to get a hand in front. Really great touch.
Covers the ground so rapidly and really closed that gap. One-handed snag from Havel. Another stoppage. Saw the signal for a violation made. Although admittedly, both hands should be closed. Walker now on the far side, wants to get it out of her hands and do some more damage downfield. Hayden flashes into the lane on the far side as the reset goes central. And continuation now to Aoki. You can feel the wind begin to pick up a little bit here from our commentary position on the balcony of the pavilion. Here, Highfield Sports Complex at the University of Nottingham. Another pick away from the play. Spacing for both sides has been off offensively, and that's why we're getting so many picks.
Yeah, and it's also making it really hard on this Barrel Age offense to connect with their upfield players. They're a little bit too clumped in the middle, not maybe creating enough space for each other to open up those inside lanes, open up those channels to push the disc further upfield.
Tight on the sideline, Walker makes the catch. And now the leading pass is too far. And just a little slap to the floor was all it needed. Getting it in play quickly with the swing to Caldwell. Downfield, nicely reeled in by Fairweather. Fairweather shooting not all the way to the end zone this time, a little bit short for Hunt. And Hunt will find the finish into Tanis Traynor for the score.
Looks like there was maybe the slightest touch on that disc from Hunt. Hand block nearly coming in, but Traynor able to collect for the goal. I think we've seen quite a few offensive points here, Benji, where neither of these teams will be fully happy with them, comfortable with how they've played, but able to grind it out nonetheless. See the Barrel Age fan there in a great outfit supporting his team. These teams, I think, needing still to settle here in this game and just remind themselves the kind of Frisbee they can play, not worry about the wind so much as well.
Yeah, another turn-heavy point. And often in these sort of games where you know neither side is playing at their best, it's the ability to fight your way through it, I think. You put the mistakes, the errors out of your mind and just try and get that mental reset and forge a path forward.
Yeah, and to some level, if you know that the game is going to be windy and you know you're going to have to battle these out, these games become, see that little touch there, almost getting the hand block, but these games become about that mental battle and attrition as well. So the team that's willing to be able to fight this out and not worry about the turns, like you said, Benji, I think that's the team we'll see come out on top.
You're having a little look there at the score bug, the ticker at the bottom of the picture, some of the scores from the other games going on across the complexes at the moment, because we've also got the Riverside Sports Complex also in use this week, or as many in Europe know it, the Wind Farm. Here's Vlak finding a central pass, Piperno again. Outside the end zone, they've been able to apply the brakes a little bit here. Have Sauer, but unflustered this possession from Barrel Age, taking advantage of the face mark and just enough curl to find the option for the score.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there, Benji. Just Hawkins caught face guarding, and Barrel Age are too smart not to take advantage of that in this situation. And that's the second clean offensive hold we've seen for this Barrel Age team, able to work their way to this edge of the end zone. Just really nice patience, resetting the disc into those spaces. And then you can see Hawkins just takes her eye off the disc, and they take full advantage on that one. Stockdale with the goal.
So 4-3 the lead now. You see there the clock tower from the University of Nottingham, just the other side of University Boulevard. Paul lands at midfield and takes a little roll. I thought there might have been a miscommunication, but it finds a target. Hayden looking to bounce. Barber and Hayden playing the two-player game for a little bit before they graciously allow the others to get involved. The little bounce back finds the seam, and Hunt collects the spoils for the score.
And almost taking advantage of a little face guarding themselves this time around, our Sauer. Hunt finding the goal, and that is the first clean offensive hold we've seen from this Sauer team, keeping themselves ahead 4-3. They're still up a break from those 2 breaks earlier in the game, and looking much better on that point.
And much more like it there from this Sauer side. Both teams here going with the long-worn Masters tradition of kind of leveling up, shall we say, the elite or senior team names. Small Batch has become barrel-aged, which, you know, you see the development there. And Salty has become a little bit sour with age, and we've all been there.
Yeah, I do love how clever those team names are, aging on from those senior programs and also carrying through the history and the chemistry. A lot of these players, talking to the barrel-age players, they've been playing together for over a decade on Small Batch, a lot of them. So you do have a lot of really good, strong connections and understanding of how each other plays as well. And you can see that from both of these teams. They've got a lot of chemistry going for them.
That one into the centre. Brantley now looking for the continuation downfield, already just a couple of yards away from pay dirt. Vlak powers her way through to the front cone, and for the first time this weekend, I say this weekend, this week in fact, Vlak has scored and Piperno's thrown the assist. A little bit of a role reversal there.
Flipping around their normal roles for sure, and Vlak doing such a good job of sealing out her defender to win the battle to that front cone. Disc was slightly, ever so slightly behind her, but it's no problem for Vlak. Yet another look at them on the end zone line here, just waiting for that option to open up, and Vlak comes streaking through, cradles it in to make sure the catch is safe. And this game has turned into quite a competitive one here, Benji, all tied up early in this first half.
4 apiece, plenty of time left on the clock. And teams have, I think as we expected with teams of this quality, just begin to find their form a little bit.
Yeah, we did say that they started this game maybe a little bit nervous, looking a little bit tense, knowing that this is a knockout game, and both teams now are starting to find their rhythm, find their momentum, and I think that's going to continue as this game goes on. We talked about them being, Masters players. They're incredibly smart. They know how to adapt in these games as well, and we'll see that as it goes on.
It's maybe not necessarily the game they would have hoped for. You'd much rather kind of hit your straps early, but as long as you can give yourself enough time to really crack on when you do get things right, you're not necessarily in a terrible position. McMichael shooting deep, not a huge window, had to curl it around the defender Havel and wasn't able to hook up with Hunt.
Yeah, we've seen a few now from Sauer down that sideline, that near sideline, that have just been pushed a little bit too far in front of the thrower. So maybe something for them to recognize that they've struggled to execute in that third of the field, and maybe just to look for some adjustments.
Deep shot going immediately, a little bit of a Springsteen slide there from Bailey. Carroll and Bailey exchange passes, trying to find a reset. Good coverage, but eventually Foster unveils herself. Walker now seeing a couple of targets stride towards the end zone. Foster goes to ground but does keep it alive. looking for another break to get their first lead of the game and bring them back on serve. Beetle Moorcroft. Walker free at the front cone. The disc is delivered, and Barrel Aged have their first lead.
Barrel Age breaking back, like you said, Benji, back on serve in this game. 5-4 here. Walker doing such a good job of also sealing out her defender and beating her to that space. Sauer, you can see them raising their hands in the air as if to say, we're all good, we've got this. This game is basically back to 0-0 here now, Benji, and it's all to play for. Get another shot here at that shot down the line. Really has to be thrown with so much touch into such a small window, like you mentioned. And Barrel Age this time making no mistakes, playing with so much speed and intensity, going all the way back the other direction in for the break.
I think on the deep shot there, I was always told that you want some sort of angle, either from the thrower or from the receiver there, but didn't necessarily have the opportunity to create that angle. All smiles here in Nottingham. Seen plenty of national pride out from the Canadians on Canada Day.
Yeah, the Americans looking to spoil the party a little bit here for Canada.
It's all right, they'll get their turn in 3 days' time on finals day. That's ominous. Going with a zone look this time. And lovely thread through that front line, able to get in position to stop any future continuation. Another little crash. And it's going to be a stoppage here. There's a player down on the field, away from the disc.
Yeah,
just coming together, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Looked like some contact just off the disc, just a small collision. So it is a foul call, and Sauer, I think, just debating whether or not that call affected the position of the disc. A lot of space in the zone as well, Benji, for Sauer to keep popping into that cup, crashing into that space. Get another look here at some of those little pop passes, and yeah, that contact happening just away from the disc. I'm not sure at what point in the possession it happened. It looks like they're going to bring it back into the hands of Jenny Corus, and to be fair, there's not many more throwers you'd rather have the disc in their hands.
Certainly a formidable weapon to have. See, they've got 4 up front here. 2 players out on the wings, and then Brantley patrolling that deep space. They've now dissolved into the one-on-one. McPhail continuing around. Fairweather pumps before delivering to Chorus. Trying to survey her options with the vertical setup. That's not there, and Vlak gobbles it up. Picked it with aplomb. Now Piperno charges downfield. Really gets the knees pumping. Another throw that was going to ping them into the end zone, but too much on it, looking for Stockdale.
Just one of those shots that looked like a little bit of excitement, rushing it towards an open player, knowing that you have a chance to get that break to go 2 up. You can see just putting too much spin on that disc, and Stockdale, a great receiver, but not able to come down with that one.
Nice edge on that one to make sure it was able to toe the sideline. So we're moving it nicely into the red zone, but they've come unstuck here before. Can they find their way in? Chorus zips it down the line into Fairweather. That'll work, and that's the Sauer score, 5 apiece.
I think Jenny Chorus needed that throw here, Benji, get that confidence flowing. She's had a couple thrown inside that have ended up in blocks. Vlak tracking that one down earlier in this point, but on this occasion, Sauer able to come back the other way, survive that chance to go down 2 and tie it back up, and Jenny Chorus showing us on that point what she can do.
Interesting as well that we're seeing both of these sides with something that you don't always see in the Masters division, where teams often can run themselves a little bit more, is that they've both got coaches, dedicated coaches. And I think sometimes it's nice to have the ability to be able to look at things from a slightly outside and objective view.
Yeah, having a non-playing coach is something that we're seeing more and more of in Frisbee. And you're right, this generation of players, there's a lot of Masters Age players who would have come through playing Frisbee without having non-playing coaches, and that has certainly changed a lot in the game. And having that perspective, able to look at the pitch and remove yourself and see the game in a different way, watch both lines, not have that personal investment, and able to help call the plays is really beneficial for these teams.
Hawkins with the pull that will hang and hit the floor just shy at that end zone line. Players flare out of this near side. Not seeing much space downfield between cutters and defenders. Having to push all the way through. Stall is rising and it's off the hand of Siaglo. I thought for a second that she might have accidentally stopped a hole in it on the way through, but it seems okay. Hawkins now with a sour break chance. Run out there by Muntz. The option down the line of Hawkins. Willing to be aggressive and take another shot down line. She'll find it this time with Frampton. And Frampton delivers for the score and the sour break into the hands of Rubino.
Rubino sliding in under intense pressure there from the defense of Bailey, but able to collect the goal. And Sauer doing such a good job of putting the pressure on defense to earn this block. They've really taken away those under options in particular for Barrel Age, not allowing their handlers to connect with the upfield, and then able to get that really nice little upline pass just on the end of the line, survives the pressure. That's a fantastic break from the Sauer team.
And we've seen this barrel-aged outfit just continue to rotate through their lines. And again, switching the 7 out on there, just trying to keep players fresh. Halfway through the week here. Play got underway on Sunday here in the East Midlands, with finals day on Saturday for the Masters Age divisions. The Grandmasters and up, I think, finish their play on Friday. Of course, you can watch every game from the event live and on demand on Ultiworld. Not just the showcase games, but the other 2 streamed pitches as well, if you've got an all-access pass or an event pack. Black on the brick mark. Got to swing open if she wants it, but wants to be more aggressive and finds Tran instead. Player on the floor gets back up. Vlak now shooting into a throng of bodies. Tran picks it and then delivers for the score into the hands of Stockdale. Another clean hold there for Barrel Aged.
Another one where we saw Vlak really marshal the offense there, walk it all the way up the pitch. And I think Sauer here might want to think about trying to push Vlak more at field. Of course, a player who can do it on both sides of the disc, but so far in this game has been so dominant when able to get those little reset passes, opening up the field with her throws. So maybe get their body positioning differently, push her deep, make her have to get out of that handler space as an adjustment here for Sauer.
Just thinking about kind of the quality of Ultimate in Colorado. Obviously, you know, you've got the University of Colorado programs, you've got Mama Bird in the Open division and Quandary now in the women's division, and lots of other strong competitive programs like Colorado College, for example. And then across the 3 divisions, you've got Johnny Bravo, Molly Brown. We've now got Mile High Trash picking up in the past couple of years. You used to have Love Tractor there in the past. Elsewhere in the women's division, you've got Kelp, of course, Small Batch, which is where this barrel-aged outfit has come from, and there's a lot of high-level Ultimate going on in Colorado in the Rockies at the moment. continuing to file through the list of defences are barrel-aged, but so far Sauer is solving them. Barber finding an option downfield, already advancing rapidly into the red zone. Caldwell short to Hayden. And Caldwell, was there, and Hayden couldn't hook up.
And it looks like there's a foul call as well. I think it looks like the barrel-aged player here, Harrell, signaling a push-off.
I agree. I did. I was pushing up to you.
Okay.
Foul, no contest.
So
that play stands.
It's turnover stand.
So Harrell there calling a push-off, and Sauer player did agree. However, I think that play didn't affect the outcome of it, so it would have stood as a turnover no matter what in this situation, Benji.
Yeah, but again, another amicable resolution. But I think they're just trying to work out exactly where the disc should come in, and I think they're happy that they're at the spot. Harrell has to go wide to find Morrissey. Working in their own end zone here, this is dangerous ground. And there's a floater that pings off the hand of Clay.
And that's the corner you just don't want to be stuck in with this wind here, Benji. Really tight, and Sauer doing a good job of pinning them into that space.
Chorus with a little support on that right knee, keeping everything in place. Seems to be in fine working order at the moment. Barber. Chorus jinks one way, then t'other, and gets free. Pick downfield. Just slow things down slightly. Tapped back in. Excellent shape on that to create the inside-out window. Another pick.
Yeah, the stack for Sauer, similar to what we saw for barrel-aged earlier in this half. Very tight, a little bit congested. Just need to space that out a little bit more.
Chorus now. Again, utilising the inside window. That's going to allow the break continuation, and snagged with authority there by Crystal Caldwell. Her first goal of the game to go along with an earlier assist.
You can see how much that amped up this Sauer team. A great snag there from Caldwell. Sauer pushing their offense to grind these points out despite a few turns. And this game has definitely got a lot cleaner in the latter part of this first half. I think both these teams still will want to adjust a little bit more going into the second half. But a great grab from Caldwell, and Sauer keeping their advantage.
See a tram scud past beyond the grandstand in the distance along University Boulevard. Very picturesque sitting this with the trees lining the road as well. Timeout on the field. I think Sauer looking potentially to kick on here and see if they can steal another break going into the half.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this timeout call at this point in the game. Maybe look to call out a power line after this and get a chance to put your best 7 players out to go break to get 2-point lead going into half.
This is the free game of the day here on Ultiworld, but if you want to watch all of the games from this week, both on our showcase pitch and our auxiliary streaming fields as well, the way to do that is to get yourself an Ultiworld subscription, ultiworld.com/subscribe, where it gets you access to the 3 streaming pitches for the last few days. You can watch back the other games from this championship. And yes, you can also join the Ultiworld Discord, where you can listen to the great of the good and the game, talk about all the important things in the sport, namely other sports and their pets. I highly recommend the Pets channel. We were badgering the admins for months about it, and it has been a ray of sunshine. So don't say they never do anything for you. But yes, if you actually want the insight and the in-depth knowledge from people who, maybe got their noses to the ground a little bit, that's 100% the place to go for your discussion. The monster claws are going in the background. You'll have to enlighten me on this one, Becky.
That cheer originally coming from the senior open team in Halifax.
What a shot that was. A beautiful, voluptuous inside-out shape on it. And a little bit of contact there. It's going to bring a temporary halt to proceedings. If Barrel Age can get it over the end zone line here, they'll bring us to a Galaxy point.
Accepted, stalling 1.
And the sideline fires up again. Vlack seems unfazed so far. Goes back to Stockdale. Just trying to keep things moving in the backfield. Spectacular bid comes in, but it was not to be for Tran.
And that was an absolutely huge bid from Tran, but that disc, again, those narrow windows, the disc being pushed really fast in that wind.
Stool rising here, able to get it off, and the receiver saw it late, looking over the wrong shoulder. Barrel Age quickly earn it back with Vlack. That monster claw chant's kind of annoying, isn't it? I respect it.
That's exactly what you want on defense as well, as a chant that is annoying to the other team.
I agree. What a catch! Tipped it up and was falling back, but Piperno still was able to hold on to it. Incredible focus and balance. Vlack tries to burrow away back towards the disc. Instead, they sneak that one around, and a hell of a reach on that one from Rachel Stockdale. Her third score in the game, and we've got a cheeky little Galaxy point.
Yeah, Stockdale has missed 1 or 2 in that exact same spot in the end zone. No way was she going to miss it a third time around. A fantastic grab there, and withstanding the monster claw chance from the Dead Circus. The Halifax men's team see a huge grab there, falling backwards, like you said.
I mean, talk about Dead Circus in the stands. We had a circus catch on the field right there.
Yeah, Barrel Age showing us exactly what they're made of. Going to look at the Dead Circus team. They won their pre-quarter earlier today, Benji, heading into the quarterfinals, and now out back in full force to support their women's team. Sauer was in the stands earlier doing the same Monster Claw chant, that chant coming from their open team Red Circus. As the name Dead Circus has now moved on in age, as we've spoken about with names before, and able to come out and support their team. And like you said, Benji, a big point here. All tied up at 7s, looking to get that advantage, all-important advantage going into halftime.
Sauer started on defense. If they can hold here, they give themselves a 2-for-none opportunity, and they receive to begin the second half. Picked up from the floor by McPhail as chorus goes to Hayden. The Canadians moving it nicely. Flow's beginning to stagnate a little bit. Another stoppage. And I think both sides have just had to keep their composure somewhat with all these breaks in play. Chorus really wants to access that break side. Goes open instead, trying to find McPhail. Continuing to move and motion. Chorus sees an option underneath. My initial instinct was that she was straddling the line, but on the field it seems that they're happy to call the goal good, and that will take us into half. McMichael on the score. and the 8-7 Sauer halftime lead.
Yeah, I would have agreed, Benji. I think maybe just landing on the line there, but all that matters is the call on the field. The players agreeing it was a goal, and a huge lead here for Sauer. That crucial lead, like you mentioned. They'll start on offense in the second half, so that advantage now going into halftime.
So important to get your nose in front as well. Receiving to begin the second half, it's such a good position. But here's how they got the job done. Chorus as influential as ever, finding McMichael, and that'll give the Canadians the lead ever so tight in this round of 16 games. Sauer with an 8-7 lead on Barrel Aged.
Boston has its glory. Jeff Babbitt with the size, the speed, the read. They throw it the full 80 yards of the field.
You cannot kill this Minnesota team.
Are you believing what you're seeing? My hands are on my head up here in the booth. Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt? Holy smoke!
This summer, Ultimate takes over the world. From the rising stars of World Junior Ultimate Championships to the seasoned battles of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships to the biggest stage in Club Ultimate, the World Ultimate Club Championships. Watch it all unfold live exclusively on Ultiworld.
Get the ultimate news you need to know with the Deep Look podcast. I'm Charlie Eisenhood.
And I'm Keith Rayner, and together we bring the games, names, and moments in Ultimate to your podcast feed. We talk Ultimate's biggest news from on and off the field about and with the people making it.
And every week we go live on YouTube. Come join the fun, the trivia, the picks, the analysis, and more Tuesdays at noon Eastern Time.
We'll see you there.
'26 World Masters Ultimate Club Championships here in Nottingham. Women's pre-quarterfinal action. Two North American strong medal contenders here, meeting in the round of 16. Barrel Aged against Sauer. And after a sloppy start to the game, Sauer have been able to keep themselves on top. Not through lack of trying, though, from Barrel Age, who have been right there with them.
Yeah, these two teams pretty evenly matched throughout this one, Benji. We've seen them go head-to-head with similar amounts of break conversion rates here, 29% for Barrel Age, 27% for Sauer, and same thing on their holds. And we've seen the performance of the likes of Brittany Fairweather from Sauer just really carrying this team forward here so far, getting those 2 blocks in the game. And these two teams really struggled at the start of this game. Maybe some nerves coming into it, maybe the intensity of being in a pre-quarter final, but also perhaps the weather. And we've seen that really change a lot throughout the course of the first half as well.
Yeah, at times the wind is not necessarily fierce, but it does have to make you think a little bit more. If you have a look there at the game flow, and it doesn't quite correlate with the turnover numbers that you're seeing, and it's because the start of this game, the first 5 points or so, very muddy, but since then, both sides have really cleaned things up.
Yeah, both sides have seriously improved on their resets in particular. They've dialed in those throws, and they've also responded to the defensive intensity that both teams have put out. I do think we saw some uncharacteristic mistakes from both these teams in that first part of the first half, and a lot of that was down to the pressure that they were putting on each other. So maybe just settling their nerves under that intensity. You mentioned Sauer coming up from that lower power pools, maybe not experiencing some of that intensity on defense. Barrel Age also needing to prepare themselves for what is a big pre-quarter final game here, as the fans are taking in this one. The Canadian flag's out here on Canada Day as well, Benji, and we are in for what should be a fantastic second half.
Thank you for our little Canadian history lesson earlier, by the way, finding out about Canada Day. Unfortunately, we don't have any holidays like that, because most of the other holidays like that are people celebrating getting away from the British, and we can't really celebrate that ourselves, but I respect it. Still got one more round to come here on the showcase field. Another round of 16 game in the Open Masters division. That's going to be Woolly Mammoths, the US taking on Germany's Bad Skid. Very excited about that one, but certainly the second half of this one is going to be worth watching. Which of these sides will be able to claw their way to the quarterfinals? Sauer starting on offense for this second half, up 1 break and an 8-7 lead. Small batch zoning again to begin the half. And we saw this the first time the Sauer O-line came out in the first half as well. We're just not going to let you settle into a rhythm and play what you want. Any set plays that you might have schemed up, we're determined to disrupt those.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to come out and start a half as well. Like you said, not let Sauer get their confidence, but transitioning quickly now into match.
Very smooth transition there. That backhand's a little bit behind, but Michael gets a fingertip on it, but it's not enough. Opportunity for Barrel Age to break. Would bring us level, but Sauer will be so happy they're able to hold on to that break into half time and just make it count a little bit more. Stockdale trying to find another option, going short to Brantley. Returns pass to Stockdale, the force comes around and it frees the option to Black. Black turning, shooting, finding the lane, and Stockdale is all over the field right now. Her 4th goal of the game. That's half of Barrel Age's now 8 goals that have come into her hand.
Stockdale was almost hunting for that one. Benji was just inching backwards in the stack, making eye contact with Black, knowing that Black has that throw in her arsenal as well, and making it look very simple here for Barrel Age to get themselves a break straight out of half, put us back at 8 goals apiece, get another shot at that just slightly throw that was just slightly behind there for Sauer. Jenny Corus not able to connect on that one, and then Black just doing a little shoulder shimmy to move the force of Chorus, and Stockdale open in yards of space in the end zone.
Yeah, nothing outrageous or outlandish, but just a little shimmy sometimes is all you need. 4 of the 8 pre-quarterfinals taking place at the moment, and 2 of them have already wrapped up. Old News with a 15-3 win over Love Me Gently, and Sage smashed Vintage in an all-Canada affair, 15-2.
Yeah, so that meaning that the winner of this game will face Old News, the #1 seed of this tournament, in the quarterfinals.
But before either of these sides can focus on that, they've got to get the job done here. Barrel Aged with that break to open the second half, as that throw almost catches McPhail rather than the other way round. Furrows the reset path to Chorus. And now a little fumble, but recovered by Hunt. Force trying to get active, so the reset goes to Chorus. Chorus always trying to attack the break slide. Sees that open space and wants to find someone there. Caldwell sits the mark down with the fake, but the throw doesn't find Chorus.
Yeah, it's those resets that they've really struggled with in this game, still just getting the best of them here, Benji.
This one has nowhere near enough gas. And it rolls disappointedly out of the sideline, where Chorus will bring it in. Danielle Tran bellowing instructions in front of us on this near sideline. Chorus with the big turn and fire, and somehow bisects everyone, finding it through to McPhail. The continuation is incomplete, but a foul on the throw.
Yeah, and looked immediately to be accepted as well. No contest there from Barrel Aged.
Incredible vision and precision to somehow find McPhail. Chorus being tasked once more with quarterbacking this offense, and Bailey is down.
Yeah, an injury being signaled on the pitch. Just went down away from the disc. Hopefully she's okay.
Yeah, is making her way off the field. Good to see her walking off under her own power. So whatever it was, hopefully it wasn't too severe.
Yeah, I heard her just say, it's okay, I just need a second. Sometimes after you've gone down like that, you just need that minute to make sure you're okay, and always have the advantage of getting those fresh legs on defense as well.
Yeah, you can just maybe jar something, squeak it a little bit, and okay, just give myself time to settle a little bit. Barber runs it down into space before delivering the assist to Caldwell, and again Sauer just about keeping on top of things.
And the one thing Sauer have done throughout this game is, even when they've struggled on those resets, they've been able to get the disc back pretty consistently from this Barrel Aged D-line, and then taking advantage this time around. Barber just being patient on the end zone line. They've really been enjoying those inside shots as well. It's been working nicely for them, and a good start to this second half.
It's one of the advantages there when you've got the disc tight on that far sideline, and the and your setup downfield, that stack is very central. It means players flaring laterally out of that towards that side. You know, for them, they're on the break side because of where the defender's set up. But for the thrower, it doesn't really feel like you're taking on a really aggressive break throw necessarily. You can just throw it flat into that channel. I think as well as a defender, you've always got to have your head on a swivel when you're away from the disc, so you can try and maybe orbit a little bit there, or have that communication with a teammate, maybe get someone to sag ever so slightly onto that break slide and pick up those cuts as they flare out. Vlak is going to field the pool at midfield. Stockdale is the option, and Stockdale rips it to Tran. Not for the first time, throwing themselves around. This time it pings off the hand, and Tran has done themselves a little bit of a mischief.
Yeah, it looked like that disc just came in maybe slightly faster than Tran was expecting. Initially thought that they could make that play and then realized that they had to go for the bid. Just coming down a little bit hard. That was, apart from the end to that play there, Benji, a perfectly executed set play there from Barrel Age. Stockdale coming for that slash cut out of a split stack, and Tran was always setting up a deep cut for the continuation there. So hopefully they're okay, and we'll be back on soon in the next points.
I thought they just might have closed the hand a little bit early there. But when you're at full reach, you're really just trying to pinpoint it at the exact moment. It's so tough, and they came incredibly close to a disc that, to be honest, when it was released, I thought was going to be incomplete, and she came ever so near to the score. That first throw doesn't connect, goes right back to Barrel Aged. Black is tipped. Foul bush. Couldn't readjust and get a second effort.
Just a bit too casual on that catch there, going up with one hand, thinking that Foulbush thought maybe she had it a bit easily, just needed to make sure.
Faking the deep option there is Ring, not going to put it, instead going short to Frampton, who's so often tasked with anchoring this D-line offense. Ring's able to get it off the line, get a little bit of lateral space to Frampton, just past the bidding figure of Piperno. Now the upline cut, delivered by Muntz. D-line offense has got some rhythm to it now. Frampton tries to loft it over the top, a delicate touch on that one. Superbly thrown with just a lovely bit of finesse on that feathery flick to Fairweather, and that's a Sauer break and a 10-8 lead.
Yeah, Brittany Fairweather has been all over the pitch for Sauer today, just really making things happen on that point and reacting to Frampton, pointing and telling her where to go. And when we asked her what to look out for about her play before this tournament, she simply said, "I am fast," and proving it there, going all the way down the line, outrunning her defender and making that look pretty easy as a huge break here for Sauer.
There's something, I love the confidence and kind of straightforwardness of that. I am fast. It's like, well, don't need to put it any more systematically than that. '26 World Masters Ultimate Club Championships here in Nottingham. The first event of the WFTF Summer of Flying Disc. 5 World Championship events this summer across the various disciplines, all in Europe, so there's so much to watch. Of course, here on Ultiworld, we've also got World Juniors coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and the World Ultimate Club Championships next month in Limerick, who hosted the last World Masters Ultimate Club Championships 4 years ago. There's that loud, annoying Canadian sideline again. And I do not mean that derogatorily. If you're out there on the field, that's exactly what you want. You want to create that confusion and disruption. Test the composure and the temperament of your opponent. Beetle Moorcroft with a little toss there to Bailey. Good to see her back out there after she'd taken that injury sub a couple of points ago. Reset defender gets sucked in a little bit, and now they're able to get themselves in a more central spot. Lofted and tipped, and Frampton gobbles it up. The high release to Rubino, already at midfield with Muntz. Frampton into the backfield. Just about splits it past the awaiting arm of Siaglo, who was desperate to spoil. Hawkins now, as Frampton comes through on that slashing en passant cut. Doesn't get it, but Trainer does the second attempt. Now the offhand unveils Frampton. Frampton shooting, trying to get the loft and the sit on it towards the back of the end zone. And that is magnificent from Tanis Trainer.
An incredible play from Trainer. I thought that disc was sailing too far out the back of the end zone, but going full extension. We'll get another look at the block from Frampton here. She's managed to get 2 now in this game, and then going back the other way, sees Trainer going, shoots early, and that hangs up just at the back, giving the chance for the huge layout grab. Full extension here for another break for Sauer.
Needing every single inch of that 6'1" frame, the full wingspan, and diving in it. Incredible grab there from Tanis Trainer. Not a bad way to take another break, and an 11-8 second half lead here.
Barrel Age calling a timeout after that one. That can be a real momentum shift as well for a team to come in and get those 2 breaks in a row with huge layout scores as well. So Barrel Age looking to stop the momentum here of Sauer and come out and respond, as they know everything is on the line.
Yeah, Barrel Age staring down the barrel at the moment. They trail Sauer 11-8.
This summer, Ultimate takes over the world. From the rising stars of World Junior Ultimate Championships to the seasoned battles of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships to the biggest stage in Club Ultimate, the World Ultimate Club Championships. Watch it all unfold live exclusively on Ultiworld.
An upset in the offing here in this women's pre-quarter final. Barrel Age down 11-8 to Sauer. The Canadians coming out of Halifax, Nova Scotia on Canada Day are playing spoiler to this Colorado side. Benji Reese and Becky Thompson with you up on the balcony in our commentary position. Best seat in the house. I say seat, we are standing, but you get the picture. That throw is zipped. The adjustment's not going to be able to save it. Really rocketed out of the hands of Foulbush. Frampton now got her fingerprints all over this contest. A goal, 4 assists, and 2 blocks already to go with just a couple of turnovers. Got a heavy workload for the D-line. Can she power them to another break? Here she finds Ewing. Good catch made by Fairweather. She is fast. She wasn't wrong. Fairweather now. A stoppage and a violation.
We've seen a few marking infractions in this game, a few violation calls. Looks like all the discussions seem to have been pretty good.
Comes back in on 1. Frampton doesn't see the separation she wants on the first few cuts. Is able to manufacture it into the centre to Ring. Ring. Connacht with the next pass downfield.
It's a really hard throw to make there from Ring when you're trying to set off to run up line while throwing that flick, and it looked like she just didn't set her pivot foot enough to stabilize that throw.
So they might wind up for the deep shot, but instead going short. Boyd holding out that flick. Tell she always wanted to throw it. Foulbush. Stoppage away from the play for a pick. Little over 20 minutes of game time left here. Full 100-minute games here at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships. So if we don't reach the 15 score cap before then, we'll get a standard cap +1. Caught tight to the sideline by Boyd. Knee pads matching the hair. Flack looking to zip it into the inside of the field. Fairweather was all over it.
Yeah, Fairweather read that one all the way, was almost begging the thrower to throw it to that space before the disc came up.
Frampton in our own end zone. Lofts the backhand up for Lamoureux. This one, a riser, is caught by Amanda Ring. She finds Fairweather. And was some congestion, certainly, but Ewing catches. And working it nicely down the sideline now with Lamoureux.
Sauer just able to march it down that sideline right now, Benji. Not having too much pressure on those upline cuts.
It was a good cut downfield from Ring, but already turned into the backfield to find Frampton, who returns favour to Ewing, and Frampton once more collects the reset. Fairweather, the engine as well, not just the speed, but the ability to go back to the well time and time again. Now she manufactures that curling pass to the end zone for Amanda Ring. It's 4 on the spin now from Sauer, and this was tied at 8, and all of a sudden they have raced away into a 12-8 lead.
It's a fantastic cut from Ring there. She took 2 hard jab steps just to get her defender off balance and then made that cut towards the back corner. You see Fairweather there reading that inside shot all the way, and then they had no trouble just working it up that sideline. Fairweather was patient on that end zone line and just able to put it around the defender into space. Ring a little bit of pressure there, but that's no problem. Sauer taking a huge lead now in this pre-quarter game.
Always in a good spot when you're further ahead of your opponent than you need points to win. I think that's where you feel like you're in a very good spot. 4 up, needing only 3 more to seal a quarter-final spot. So it was a rough start to the tournament for Sauer. Big losses to Old News out of Washington DC, then Dregs from the UK. Finished the pool with a big morale-boosting win against Singapore's Sam Sui, and then in that lower pool, polished off Seagulls, Hamburg, and Vintage. And so now they've 3 games on the spin. It's understandable that they're coming into this with a little bit of confidence.
Brittany Fairweather, saw some of the stats there, having a fantastic game, getting blocks, getting assists, getting scores. It's been brilliant to watch.
What a weapon to have on your D-line. Barrel Age have to dig deep here if they want to progress in the tournament. The quarter-final against the aforementioned Old News awaits the winner of this game. Beetle Moorcroft doesn't see much going on downfield on the high stall, just choosing to chance her arm and air it out. It was a good choice as well. Walker comes through and sneaks in unnoticed to collect the spoils. Another deep shot, this time the float takes it out of the pitch and Clay doesn't get a chance.
Yeah, that one just needed to be kept a bit lower, to be put in front of the receiver there. As soon as these discs are popping up, they're catching the wind and just pushed out of bounds.
We can have a look at it again. I think Clay knew relatively early on that there wasn't even a chance at a toe-in or a greatest, that it just wasn't to be. Hawkins will bring it in on the sideline. Wants to get a little bit of lateral space to play with, and they swing it all the way over to the far side. Hawkins again with disc in hand now. Barrel Age seem to be tiring, and there are players who now able to find themselves more open. Zipped towards the end zone, but Hillary Walker had a read on that the entire way. will at the very least force Barrel Age to start in their own end zone, and a lot of contact there on the catch. McMacken accepts the foul, somewhat understandably. Another deep shot comes. This blades out of the hand early, and Maida swats it to the floor. Hawkins comes back to it once more. Looking down the break side, nothing really going on there. Central instead is Trainer. Does look like Hawkins has got maybe some climbing chalk potentially on those hands, just to help things secure and maybe alleviate any sweaty palms. Trainer now. Pivoting wide, getting it into the centre, and plenty of players in the same space, and an injury call.
Looks like Hawkins maybe just got a bump to the leg, or her foot stepped on there. A little bit of congestion, miscomms there from the Sauer offense, leading to that block here for Barrel Aged.
He has to stop Hawkins, can't run all the way through it because there's too much congestion there, and gets bumped a little bit as she stops. Another stoppage away from the disc. And there have been patches in this game when, not through malice necessarily, but there just have been a few stoppages, and it has prevented a little bit more of the up-tempo style.
Yeah, just stopping the flow for both of these teams, and it's been pretty even, the calls both ways. We've seen a lot of pick calls from both teams, so both of these offenses maybe needing to just keep their spacing a bit more, but also maybe to recognize when the pick calls are so far away from the play that you don't always need to call it to allow the momentum to continue.
So there's a pick called. Okay, all right. A long time ago, I guess.
It was.
Yeah.
There was 3 steps back.
So.
I was coming to mark you, but.
Okay. All right.
You were going around that route.
All right.
I think I just made contact.
Okay, so.
Sure.
I don't have perspective on this. So I guess pick stop play. It was a long time ago. It affected the play, so therefore this should come back. This come back. And the time of the pick, I guess.
Yeah, sorry. There was no stall because.
Yeah, sure. So pick was called, disc was here, back to where you were when the pick happened, which was 5 or 6 seconds ago.
Of course, the rules do have that.
Sorry, I didn't hear the stall.
There was no stall.
No stall.
The rules do have the ability for you to delay calling a pick by a couple of seconds, so you can see whether or not it affects before calling it. And I think there are times in this game where both sides maybe would have benefited from just delaying that call for a second or two, because it's created stoppages that didn't necessarily need to happen. We are back in play. There was no stall, but they got it out of their hands quickly enough anyway. Flack has now switched her lines. Expect to see a lot of her in the closing quarters of this game. This one is going to be tipped, and it provides the opportunity for Nadine Bocquet to slap it to the floor. Somewhat dismissively, but they can't hook up with Tanis Trainer down the line.
And a rare error from Frampton. We've seen her pick up the disc time and time again and be so clinical, but Barrel Age, another chance for a hold here, a really crucial point here for this team from the USA.
Flack looking to get it off the sideline. Frampton tries to keep her trapped, and a drop comes from Walker.
Yeah, just an unfortunate, unforced error there, giving Sauer another opportunity for a break.
Cutter striding deep. Trainer's going to try and ping it towards her. The defender had good position, and Galen McMacken wasn't able to get past and get the catch.
Yeah, the defender there just pulling McMacken into that space early as well because her positioning was so good. Made her have to go for it. We see both these teams with 4 turnovers apiece in this point, and Barrel Age, like I said, a crucial score for them here. Hard to imagine that if Sauer get another break that Barrel Age will have much of a chance of coming back into it.
That throw rises. Trainer's going to be in position. Wants to knock it down rather than catch it. Give Frampton the chance to pick up. Bokeh going back to Frampton, who pings this one downfield. Finds McMacken. McMacken with some loft on the shot that finds its target. Grace Hamilton Burge with the score. 13-8 now. Barrel Aged are fading, and Sauer are certainly leaving a sour taste.
Yeah, Sauer in full control now in this second half. Just the one score for Barrel Age in this half as well. Sauer have just completely run away with this game. Benji, you can see the smiles on their faces. They know that they're in control. Of course, the job is not done yet. Barrel Age will have something to say about it, but right now, Sauer in the driving seat, and time again they've been able to earn the disc back from this Barrel Age team, putting a lot of pressure on them. And then nice touch on this throw, the little high release flick from McMacken in for the goal. Sauer in full control right now.
It will require a monumental comeback from this point for Barrel Aged. Graham Shellswell on the sideline there, taking some snaps. Look forward to having a little thumb through those later. Ball comes up from Frampton. Draws towards the far sideline, where it's picked up by Harrell. Boyd's turn to rip it. Stockdale again just continues to churn up yardage downfield. And then delivers back to Boyd for the score. A pick away from the play, but does not affect, and the goal stands. Belatedly, they are back on the board. Is it a case of too little, too late?
That looked like a nicely executed pull play here from Barrel Age, just creating the space downfield for Stockdale to make that deep cut, runs onto it nicely, and then, like you said, a pick off the play, but didn't affect the outcome of the goal. That's
Boyd.
A hold back here for Barrel Age, but we'll see if they're able to now turn that into breaks.
We see Boyd there gratefully clutching the disc to her chest. Was her deep shot from that slightly idiosyncratic wind-up that got things really moving. Our next game coming up in just under an hour. You can translate that for your own time zone. In the open division, in the round of 16, Woolly Mammoth of the USA taking on Germany's Bad Skid. I am very much looking forward to that one. You can see there, Bad Skid warming up in the background. Getting their throws in nice and early so they can adjust for the stadium winds. Chorus will pick it up at midfield to get this possession underway. Tried to return via to Chorus, but were unable to do so. Siaglo was there. Getting it out of the hands quickly. Brandley now. Whips the fake. Finds Havel. Dumping it back to Beetle Moorcroft. Looks like they've got Brantley there, but thought better of it. Can't go in, has to go out. Beetle Moorcroft trying to find an option down the line. Siaglo instead. Force comes across, and that frees up the reset in the centre. Havel. The timing and the continuation was off, but that one is going to work using the inside seam. And a break for Barrel Age. They certainly are not going to go down easy.
That was a hugely important break here for Barrel Age to stay in this game. It looked like a few times they had some options to thread the disc into the end zone, but took their time, knowing how crucial this point was. See that block there, and then able to just reset it around the outside of the end zone before that opened up to Brantley in the space. Brantley having another fantastic game here for Barrel Age, and a chance for them to look for another break to get this back within 2. Right now, Sauer still in the driving seat, but that's much better here, Benji, from Barrel Age.
You've just given yourself a sniff. Still, certainly, in this scenario, you'd much rather be in Sauer's position.
Absolutely, and with time running down as well. Of course, it is a +1 cap when we get to that 100 minutes, meaning that Barrel Age will still have chances to get back into this game, as Sauer will have to score to win. So it'll be interesting to see if we'll play to a game to 14 or 15, depending when this time runs out.
I mean, that's the great thing about Ultimate, is that as long as you have to score that last point to win, the comeback is always possible. And it's often improbable, but never impossible, and that is the important thing. It's Sauer trying to salt away their lead. This break towards the near side was too ambitious, looking for fair weather. All of a sudden, feels like the momentum's all on the side of Barrel Aged. Boyd's going to take off deep. Can she read this one? It's awkward, but the adjustment was exactly what was needed. Boyd once more delighted as she holds it to her chest like it's the most precious thing in the world. Another barrel-aged break. This game is certainly not done yet.
Yeah, Boyd having a fantastic read on this. You see, Chorus there kind of locked into that throw, maybe decided that was the best option, maybe just forcing it a little bit. We've obviously seen her execute those before. She did have a free reset though. And then Barrel Age this time taking full advantage. Like you said, Benji, the momentum seemingly shifting a little bit. A big throw, and Boyd just tracked that all the way, cradles it into her chest. And Sauer, I think, taking a time out here. Benji looking to figure out how to stop the momentum after you can see the flow of breaks here. Sauer in this second half going out on 4 breaks in a row, and since then now Barrel Age a hold and 2 breaks of their own back. This game has been a game of runs.
What's impressive to me about these last 3 points is that not only have they been able to get the breaks, Barrel Age, but 2 clean breaks there as well after that clean hold. And the game state has changed so rapidly. Yes, it was 4 on the spin, 5 on the spin even for Sauer, but they weren't coming as quickly as these breaks back have come for Barrel Aged, and it can be a little bit of a sucker punch in that respect.
Yeah, we've seen that in a few points here for Sauer, where they've had a lot of long points, a lot of really gritty, grindy points, and meanwhile Barrel Age in their breaks here, like you said, nice and quick, very efficient, and that keeps their D-line fresh and excited to get back on the field. You see their fans cheering them on. Again, that amazing outfit from the Barrel Age fans. They are loving this one. They would want nothing more than to see another break here. And you know what, Benji? So would I. This game has had a little bit of everything today.
And there is still plenty of life left in this one. Sun coming out as well. Perfect environment for a grandstand finish. Flatter, zippier pull there from Barrel Aged. Sauer just try and get it moving early in the piece. Zone coming out, I like this idea. Just do not let Sauer get into any sort of rhythm, which I feel like has been the key word for much of this contest. The crash finds Barber. Now they've got beyond that front line, and the drop from Hunt. Just trying to force up that pass count, and it worked. Havel to Beetle Moorcroft. Spread wide all the way around to Walker, who continues downfield to Bailey. All of a sudden, Barrel Aged have absolutely locked in Vlack back to Beetle Moorcroft. Caldwell desperately bids to get there, but comes up short. And then miscommunication. The throw maybe stuck in the hand slightly. It was enough. And she is racing away downfield. Who else but Fairweather? Can she track it? Defender goes up early and it drops right into the lap of Fairweather. She points, remonstrates with Hayden. Go, be a scoring option. Fairweather instead thinks better of it though. Goes back into the backfield. Now wide. Fairweather's putting her name all over it again and refused to be denied. That is freakish speed.
Fairweather decided, I've had enough of this, enough of Barrel Age coming back into this game. I'm going to try to end this now, and going coast to coast from her own end zone all the way back up the other way. Tracked that throw so well. Jenny Corris putting that one out with a lot of float on it downwind as to not overshoot Fairweather. And I think Sauer getting a little bit lucky there that disc just kind of hung in the hand, stuck in the hand like you said, and going all the way back the other way. Fairweather deserved that point.
As soon as that disc turned over, it was like she'd been shot out of a cannon, and there was absolutely no stopping her. Even when you know it's coming, doesn't mean you can stop it. Sauer now just 1 point away from the quarterfinals. And it had seemed like Barrel Aged were really going to force the issue here at the end of this game, but surrendered it for the first time in 4 points, and Sauer didn't blink at their second opportunity. Time cap is on, but we know at this point it is indeed game to 15. Barrel Age cannot afford to make any mistakes. Boyd fires the flick to Stockdale. Crafts that one. Harrell with a floater that Boyd catches with a defender on her back. Harrell again as Mueller zips down the line. Bid comes in, but cannot deny Brantley. That one will be denied, though.
That felt like just mounting pressure on each pass there, Benji, before Sauer was able to get themselves the block.
It's Ring who came charging through. And Sauer now can almost taste the quarterfinals. And judging by some of their apparel, it might be tasting rather like a lemon.
You can hear the Halifax men's team Dead Circus yelling, we need a reset. Right now, Frampton left in that space by herself.
And she has shown that mercurial ability at times to get something out of nothing. Collision on that cut. And there was an injury call.
Looked like just both of the players' legs maybe getting a bit tangled. Ring trying to cut in that small space. Get another look as Vlack has come on to the pitch. A great injury sub to have.
Yeah, Harrell is the player who's made way. But again, off under her own power, which is a good sign.
Like, that's my perspective. I would agree.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
great.
thank you. I'm gonna
All right. So it's max 6.
Max 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that foul occurring right in front of Frampton would have potentially been a cut that she would have looked to throw to. Therefore, this foul affecting the outcome of the play.
And maximum a foul can come in on. It's still 6. Checked in by Müller. So they find Trainer downfield. This one is going to invite the bid, but it won't get there. And now the shot comes. They look to run it out towards the back of the end zone. Leander Delaney makes the catch, and Sauer, with the upset, have polished off Barrel Aged to seal a spot in the quarterfinals with a 15-11 victory.
Delaney was running out of yardage there to make the grab, but reeled it in under pressure. Commiserations to Barrel Age as they will head now to face up for a best possible finish of 9th place. But this today, Benji, is all about Sauer. The upset here, booking their place in the quarterfinals and doing so in style. This game had a little bit of everything.
A dream Canada Day for the side from Halifax, Nova Scotia. We saw Dead Circus make their way to the quarterfinals in the Masters Open division, and now Sauer in the Women's Masters division have done exactly the same. Have a look at the game stats for you there. This was 8-7 at halftime. It was so close, but a supreme second half performance from Sauer, creating themselves so many break opportunities. And sure, you'd want to convert more than 36% of them, but when you create that many, your conversion rate doesn't have to be that high.
No, it doesn't. This game really was a mental battle. I mean, look at the turnovers, 29 for Barrel Age, 26 for Sauer. Neither of those teams will be super happy with that, but sometimes it's not always about what is the prettiest. It's about being able to grind it out and fight out these points, and Sauer really showed that they could do that in this game. Brittany Fairweather, absolutely outstanding. Frampton as well, just standouts for this team, and it'll be exciting to see what they can do in the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, awaiting them in the quarterfinals, a battle with the number 1 seed and firm favourite going into this week, Washington DC's Old News, after they were big winners in their pre-quarterfinal 15-3 over Belgium's Love Me Gently. Beautiful afternoon here in Nottingham at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships. A scintillating women's pre-quarterfinal between Barrel Aged and Sauer. Both sides had their moments. We were tight going into the first half, just a 1 break advantage at 8-7 for Sauer, but in the second half they were too hot to handle. Thank you very much for watching Ultiworld's continued coverage of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships, our free game of the day here on YouTube. Get yourself an Ultiworld subscription, ultiworld.com/subscribe to watch all the action from the championships. On behalf of our wonderful crew here, thank you very much for watching. The final score is 15-11, and we will see Sauer in the quarterfinals.